The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is January 15th, 2020, episode 172, and this week, Frogbot, Immortal, and My First Mind Control. My name's Basil.
And this is Gonz, bringing you disturbing fringe news that will fill you with rage, but take a deep breath, and think outside the cage.
Hello. I'm Mr. Krabs, and you're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Hey. Now, I know what you folks are thinking, but just remember, if a robot's telling you to do it, it's probably true. Now get back to work.
Mr. Krabs.
Mr. Krabs.
Wow. That was a fun little intro. I like the new spin. You're laying off your SoundCloud rap gig, huh? You're trying to break into some other genres.
Yeah, I pulled I reversed the face tattoos so I can be back in society. And that's actually what the music you were hearing in the background there. That was a Japanese man playing the banjo. Ken Aoki. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very nice. Well, again, thank you, Steven, over on the canarycry.community for doing just a lovely Mr. Krabs impression from SpongeBob there. And Gonz, Canary Cry community just keeps popping off, baby. We're almost up to 700 users. That's 700 listeners, just like you, dear listener. And they are gathering. We are all gathering over at canarycry.community, a real URL. And it's a place for people like you to get together, talk, and all sorts of things. There's memes, there's discussions, there's conspiracy theories, there's people telling life stories and giving and getting advice for one another. It's a great little fellowship spot. And if you haven't done it yet, head to canarycry.community, join up, find a place to talk and be with people like yourselves outside of the grips, of the clutches, the claws of our favorite lizard person, Mark Zuckerberg. No Facebook allowed over there. And Gonz, as promised, I think it was last week or the week before, I said every 100 people who join the Canary Cry community, I'm going to be giving away pieces of your personal information that I am able to look at as an admin. And where'd I have it here?
That's wonderful.
Gonz, I want to applaud you because this is pretty impressive. You have read 2,100 posts on the Canary Cry community. Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
I got too much time on my hands. What am I doing with my time?
I know. Very active. And you've almost given away 1,000 likes. Not quite there, but you'll get there more. And to round out some info here, Gonz, you have, let's see, you've spent 17 hours reading things on the Canary Cry community. So that's pretty impressive. That's certainly more than me. So there you go, folks. Gonz, the one place on the internet that Gonz is active. And I want to give a shout out to some of our power users over there at canarycry.community. Cool. Steven, again, always Steven doing a great job. Steven! Be Hero. That's a fun name. Be Hero. Sarah 29. And let's give the last one to Stand Up for Christ. Actually, I'll give one more. 80-ounce baby comes in fifth most active. There you go. Thank you guys so much for being over there, interacting, keeping the conversations going. It is just, the train keeps a moving over there, Gonz. So I recommend everybody go join canarycry.community, real URL, find a place to hang with people just like you outside of the big brother establishment of Facebook.
Sure. Just a real quick call out to Justin Fall, who basically made me change my avatar as part of a deal to get him to join, and he did join, but he's only visited one time and given one heart. Justin,
you gotta get back in there, buddy. Yeah. Gon's made a very special profile picture of his head on the kid from the Goonies. The Asian kid from the Goonies.
Yeah, that's me. That's pretty much me. Just picture that.
Everybody's going to want to go check that out. Go to canarycry.community. And Gons, it's time to get into the show. Are you ready for a Flippy update?
Yes. Why isn't it playing? Oh, here we go.
Cool.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
Okay, we're over on venturebeat.com, Gons. And this is there's a little bit of, there's a contender to come in and swoop the title of Flippy away from our
Are you talking about robots. Bally the Ball?
No, although I almost did bring in Bally the Ball.
Yeah, it's pretty.
But this is on
pretty
VentureBeat.
Go ahead,
oh my gosh. It's okay. We got to get in our rhythm. We're off rhythm, Gons.
I know. We started with all the community stuff, which is unusual for us to go that in on community. Okay, go ahead.
That is unusual. Okay. Autonomous cats, humanoids, and other cool robots at CES. So there is a list of robots here that were premiered at CES. One of them is called Bally. It's literally just a tennis ball that rolls around, follows you around in your house, spies on you, and controls your life. It looks and cuddles with your dog. You know, that's a fun one. I almost talked about Bally, but this time we're gonna talk about Flippy's arch nemesis, Reachy.
I'm for the robots
because it reaches.
That's right. I know. Mathieu Lapallier and Pierre Ronnet, the founders of 2-year-old Bordeaux, France-based Pollen Robotics, are on a mission to build modular building blocks for consumer robots. The startup's Reachy platform comprises a 7-degree of freedom arm designed to fit tools, and at the end of its tip, including a hook, a gripper, and a 5-finger hand. As for Reachy's spherical head, it's animated by Pollen's proprietary Orbita, a ball joint actuator that supports dynamic and multi-directional movement with animated antennae to convey emotion. So here's the thing, Gons. Flippy's got to run for his money here because now it's Reachy. He's a lot like Flippy, except for he has a handlebar mustache to disguise him,
and a face. He's got a face.
Yes, they're really bringing together. It's basically Flippy with more than just one arm. It's starting to look like a real human. And his big thing is he's got some custom operating software, and the head has 2 built-in cameras. Ooh, like eyeballs.
Like eyes.
One of which observes the environment. The other focuses on the task of manipulating. I think they want us to think that it means manipulating, the world around them with its arms. But I think it's more like gaslighting. They're just Reachy's here to manipulate all of us into joining the revolution. Let's see. Looking for any more fun thing. Oh, yes. Here's the one of the most fun facts about Reachy, besides his very creative name. He's available in basic, advanced, and expressive configurations, all of which contain up to 6 modules in total. And Gons, you'll be happy to hear that you can start out with the basic model of Reachy for only $8,990.
Oh, so it's like as of this recording, just 1 Bitcoin. Give him a Bitcoin, yes. You can have one of these robots.
Yeah, that's right. Oh wow, we got to get a Bitcoin, Gons.
So we can buy a Bitcoin, a Reachy.
Yes. So there you go. I just, not the most exciting Flippy update, but I wanted everybody to keep an eye out for Ricci because, he's a contender for sure. He might be the robot to steal all of our hearts, literally by taking them out of our bodies and presenting them to his robot altars to worship his robot gods.
Nice spin of the story.
Thank you.
real positive place to land. Okay. Forbes.com. Here's the good news about VR. Good news, Basil.
Oh, good news is good.
There are many skeptics that love to cast doom and gloom over new technology, particularly immersive technology like virtual reality.
Not us.
Not us.
You
just warn people.
We don't do that.
We don't cast doom and gloom unless you misinterpret what we're saying. While it's true that
That's on you, folks.
That's on you. While it's true that the VR industry is moving slower than expected, there are certainly lots of good news stories out there. And they bring up the CES, the Consumer Electronics Show, which was last week, and that's where we got our Ricci report as well. But it says here that traditionally this has been one of the biggest weeks for VR, AR, and MR. And it brings up a couple different things here. And one of them is something that I never heard of. But Basil, you are more in touch with the world of gaming and VR. And you were familiar with this, but I was not. And the names are interesting. Boneworks and Super Hot VR. When thinking about VR games, Beat Saber is probably the first title that springs to mind. Now, what is Beat Saber, Basil?
Beat Saber is a game where you're in a virtual world and these blocks of light come flying at you and you have to slice them with basically a lightsaber. You have one in each hand and it's usually set to music where you're slicing these blocks, to the beat of a song, and it can get pretty intense. It's a pretty popular VR game. And apparently you can lose some weight doing it.
I was going to say, I think the next part of the whole experiential exercise weight loss industry is going to include VR adventures and physical types of things that are in the VR world. That's exit strategy number one. Potential for us if we get our act together.
Get fit playing virtual reality. Yep. One of the games that I'm very excited to play on our Twitch channel, which we are working towards, folks. I know I'm not going to tell anybody to go follow us anymore, but you should go to twitch.tv, search Canary Cry Radio and follow us. We're going to be playing some VR, doing some good stuff, doing the good old breakdowns, but doing it live. One of the games that I play, or have played, it's basically just battling robots. Like full on robots are taking over the world and you are battling them. When I'm playing that game, I work up a hefty sweat, my man. It is some serious work fighting robots.
Interesting. However, we're seeing a number of other titles coming to the fore as the demand for good quality VR games grows. Boneworks, the experimental physics VR adventure, just launched before the holiday season, reached 100,000 players in its first week, so doing quite a bit better than our community. Although we have more substance. That's our pitch.
Boneworks.
This equates to an estimated $3 million in revenue. To put it into perspective, Beat Saber made $2 million in revenue in its first month. And let's see, there's another game called... in a post-launch update, publisher Stress Level Zero commented, "Thank you to everyone for making the launch of Boneworks the biggest in VR's young history." And later, Super Hot VR, one of the most popular VR games out there, also saw great success over the holiday period. The company announced the game grossed $2 million across all platforms in the week over Christmas. This roughly equates to 80,000 copies, blah, blah, blah. So, Super Hot VR. Basil, are you familiar with Super Hot VR?
Super Hot. Never heard of it. I'm going to have to check it out.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's a fail.
Were you just bringing these?
I was heavily relying on your knowledge of hands-on VR experience. I thought you were just an expert at all.
I haven't played this one. It's basically just like a fighting game, but you fight like little polygon figures. I don't know much about it.
Okay, well, there's a couple more games here that they mention. They have an Oculus Quest game called Half-Life Alyx. And so there, there's a couple more. But here's what I was thinking, Basil, as another exit strategy potential for us, because obviously, podcasting is a stepping stone for life. But so look, the VR thing's happening. Okay, there's all these reports about, hey, the VR industry is going to grow to billions of dollars, and those reports have been around for a while, but it just hasn't happened yet. And it's likely to happen in the next decade or so, I would imagine, as this technology deploys all over. So what we should do, Basil, is do some what's the right terminology? White label, or is it I don't know what the name is. We should just find some cheap VR sets, slap a Canary Cry logo on there, but do some custom programming where like every half hour it like flashes Bible verses to make you feel guilty. And then at every hour point,
guilty for what?
We're just warning you, maybe like Revelation 13 flashes, just a warning, like, hey, reminder, and then after an hour, you hear this.
Stop this progress before it is too late.
And then it shuts down for 18 hours and you can't use it for 18 hours. What do you think?
Okay, yeah, sounds like a blast. I think that's probably the worst idea that I've ever heard. But you know what?
Buy this VR that doesn't work most of the daytime.
Yeah, it'll be a great, affordable Christmas present. It's a VR goggles that do nothing.
We'll shelf that one. We'll develop. We'll put it back in the room there to develop a little more. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Sounds good. Okay, are you ready for a real news story, guys?
Oh, this is the real news story.
Are you ready to become cyborg?
This is the real deal. We're getting into it here, and I have lost my tab from the article that
news.sky.com.
I know, I didn't want to read from the news.sky.com one.
You had some.
What is news.sky? Anyways, I had one from Futurist, but that's okay. We'll do this one.
It's a UK news outlet, it looks like.
Titled, "The World's First, quote, living robots unveiled, and they can self-heal."
Ooh.
Interesting hyphenated self-heal. I feel like they just should have said it can heal itself. But anyways, neither here nor there. Researchers have taken a major leap towards the realm of science fiction by creating what they claim are the world's first living robots. Those concerned that the age of the Terminator may be upon us need not worry for now. The hybrids cooked up by scientists at the University of Vermont have been based on a type of African frog. The, quote, entirely new life forms, known as xenobots, have been made using stem cells from frog embryos and have been designed to one day be used in medicine and underwater research. First of all, Gons, they are calling them life forms. So now we have a connection between robots, because that's what they are in theory, and life forms. So, the ongoing conversations of what constitutes, what is a robot? Is it living? Is it not living? What would it mean for a robot to really be alive? Well, this is where we're at. And xenobots probably being the most terrifying science fiction-y name you could give to the robots that will soon replace us. It brings to mind xenomorphs, the name of the species from the Alien movies. So
good,
there you go. It's spooky.
Nice connection there. Not to scare anybody, but
no, it's terrifying. It is hoped that the millimeter-wide bots could swim around human bodies to reach specific areas requiring medicine and be used to gather microplastics from the ocean. But one potential feature, very befitting of a T-800, is their ability to self-heal, which the team in Vermont believes will develop thanks to their biological tissues. Joshua Bangard, a computer scientist and robotics expert who co-led the breakthrough, explained, "These are novel living machines. They're neither a traditional robot nor a known species of animal. It's a new class of artifact, a living, programmable organism."
Wow.
Whoa. The design of the robo creatures were finalized after an algorithm, get this, Gons, finalized after an algorithm running on a supercomputer created thousands of different variants before being assembled and tested by biologists at Tufts University in Massachusetts. So they were designed by artificially intelligent supercomputer, and it was, I don't know if they have it in this article, but in one of the other articles talking about it, the algorithm that the supercomputer used to figure it out was titled something like evolutionary building or something like that. I don't know. It had to do with evolution. So they're using evolution as the crux or the catalyst to building these living machines. Mr. Levin added, quote, then you ask, well, what else are these cells capable of building? As we've shown, these frog cells can be coaxed to make interesting living forms that are completely different from what their default anatomy could be. The findings have been published in the journal Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. The report says the bots are proof of a way to design, quote, completely biological machines from the ground up. Yikers, Gons. Wow. And these they're made from the stem cells of frogs. So there's some very interesting questions being asked here about what is life, and can robots be alive and such and such. When we think of life, I mean, obviously trees and plants are sort of the most rudimentary type of life that we come in contact with on a regular basis. But I mean, these are basically little animals that move around. There's videos of these things, and they can complete tasks. Some of the tasks included moving little pellets around, or stacking the little pellets, or carrying them from place to place. And this is a really crazy, this is some leaps and bounds. I mean, talk about, I mean, I hate to go back to it every time, but, breathing life into some weird new creation. This is tampering in places we need not tamper.
Yeah. Obviously, the Revelation 13 image of the beast reference there, where it talks about the second beast giving breath to an image, and that image having that authority. So, but there's another.
Wow.
Yeah, go ahead.
That does kind of connect with, we're talking about AI being the image of the beast, or one of those characters you just mentioned, breathing life into this other image, life being the real image. Yeah.
Well, here's all the crazy connections with the scriptures here, which is, first off, that image part of it, but also earlier in the chapter, Revelation 13, it says that one of its heads, and this is the heads of the first beast that comes out of the sea, interesting, had a mortal head wound, mortally wounded, but the mortal wound was healed, and the whole world marveled and followed the beast. Now, if you go into some of the lexicon and you look at the word for healed, first off, the word for the head had been damaged, it's been slain. So literally it's kind of like a death. And then the healing, the word for heal in the Greek is therapeuo, like therapy. I care for, attend, serve, treat, especially of a physician, hence I heal. So it's an actual reversing of a physical condition to restore a person from illness, disease, or infirmity. So it's literally the physical healing aspect of it. But it gets even crazier, Basil, because in Revelation 16, verse 13 and 15, here's what it says. And I saw 3 unclean spirits that looked like frogs coming out of the mouths of the dragon, the beast, and the false prophet. These are demonic spirits that perform signs and go out to all the kings of the earth to assemble them for battle on the great day of God, the Almighty. Behold, I am coming like a thief. Blessed is the one who remains awake and clothed, so that he will not go naked and let his shame be exposed. And they assembled the kings in the place that in Hebrew is called Armageddon. So could that be some kind of ultimate trajectory point of where this little story, Basil, of these little frog genetics spit out by AI creating quote unquote life, could that be where this is all headed?
It's crazy, man. I mean, it's really some Days of Noah type stuff. We talk a lot about chimeras and the issues with that. I mean, this is something out of nothing. Now, not nothing, because they did use frog stem cells.
What's I'm saying?
Apparently,
crazy.
Apparently, geneticists like using frogs. That's what they used in Jurassic Park to bring the dinosaurs back to life. Connection, Michael Crichton? What do you know? Spill the beans.
But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
Yep. And then, are we moving on? Are we done? Are we done with that one?
Yeah, go.
Oh, okay.
Mind control research intensifies.
All right. So this is New York Times. We like to bring you mainstream articles that have ridiculousness in them. This is a letter of recommendation, okay. The Happy Song by Imogen Heap. And this is like a personal sort of report type of deal. And it says here, the song I listened to the most this past year was The Happy Song by the English singer-songwriter Imogen Heap. I didn't play any other songs by Imogen Heap last year or any other year. I don't think I've ever heard of any other songs by her, but this song, The Happy Song, I played every single day, often 8 or 10 times in succession. And the reason why is because it basically tamed the little baby child of this author here. It says, the reason why I play it so much is for the effect it had on my 18-month-old daughter. She'll be screaming her head off about something tiredness, crankiness, being left alone for 10 minutes with a father who is incapable of breastfeeding her and is therefore of limited practical use. And I can kind of relate to that. And at some point, I'll remember
the father is of limited practical use.
Yes. Yes. No. Babies can make you feel like that, especially as the male. And at some point, I'll remember that the Happy Song exists and immediately put it on the stereo. The song opens with the sound of a baby gurgling laughter, an introduction that never fails to capture my daughter's attention. The correct description for what is going on here is that it gives her pause. And goes on here, and it's got a very interesting section here where it talks about what we're talking about here is some unavoidably literal sense, or in some unavoidably literal sense, mind control. And the song is such an effective dopamine delivery mechanism that I sometimes wonder, as I cue it up for the 9th time in a row, whether I'm unwittingly laying down the precise neural pathways in my daughter's tender little brain that will ensure a lifetime of addictive behavior.
Oh, no.
There's something creepy, too, about the way the song attempts to achieve its ends, leveraging the emotions of babies to increase parents' awareness of a baby food brand. And you wouldn't have to lean too hard into this interpretation to start seeing the song, which was conceived as a corporate branding exercise, germinated in a mulch of data and audience testing, optimized for maximal engagement and delivered via algorithmic targeting as a troubling intensification of existing trends in the production of culture under capitalism. Of course, it's New York Times. So
this is taking quite a turn.
I'm just saying it's New York Times, so they have to land it on the bash capitalism narrative.
Yeah, of course.
But
yeah,
here's the thing that's interesting. So I listened to the song. It's kind of a catchy little tune. I won't play it for copyright reasons, and since we're almost out of time here, here's the thing. The reason why this works, and maybe, if you're playing the song 9 times in a row, you're definitely creating some kind of neural pathway. But okay, so as a parent of a two almost 3-year-old baby, and I'm not saying I'm a perfect parent by any means whatsoever, but one method that you have in case the child is acting a certain way or whatever, and again, I'm not saying I practice this perfectly as a dad, but the method is to distract. Is to change her attention, to get her to focus on something else. So if she's in pain or something like that, you pay attention to it. You say, give it a healing kiss or whatever, and then you kind of just move on, and you draw their attention to something else, and that's how you deal with kind of the nagging type of stuff that comes with children that are little babies. So that's my little parental advice that I've tried to deploy. It doesn't always work, obviously, but it's a method.
Have you looked at the lyrics of the song? I mean, I
listened to it.
So he's saying mind control in the context of it controls the baby's mind to chill out for a second.
Right. And that's kind of but he's saying that that is kind of the beginning of drawing, maybe because of capitalism, into some more, corporate means of money, cash.
Well, it's interesting because further down in the article, it says the slightly unnerving fact about this song is that it was designed with the precise effect in mind. The London ad agency BETC, working on behalf of the baby food behemoth Cow and Gate, wanted to engineer a piece of music to delight children between the ages of 6 months and 2 years. There's a video on the agency's website that documents the creation of the world's first song scientifically proven to make babies happy.
Yeah.
And it's very much apparently having the effect. Have you tried it on your little one yet?
No.
The Samurai Princess?
No, I have not, but I actually played the song.
Good job.
And we may play it in extended report because we can do that. But it's a catchy little tune or whatever. I can see how it works. It kind of draws you in, but nothing special about it. But I guess if you know about all the science behind it, you can put on your helmet of salvation to protect from the arrows of the enemy when you listen to it. Maybe
it
that's too intense.
Paid for and developed for the baby food company Cow and Gate. I wonder if, yes, it makes your baby, it'll settle your baby down, but it'll also make your baby ravenously hungry for its favorite Cow and Gate treat.
Yep.
Okay, well, there you go. Anything else before we move on to the extended report?
That's it for this part of it. I think we're done.
Okay, folks, remember, we have every week we do another episode of Canary Cry News Talk. It's a little bit more loosey-goosey. We go a little bit more into some other types of stories, but overall, it is the place to be right after this episode. So you can get that by going to patreon.com/CCNT and sign up to support us there. You'll get, tons of bonus episodes. There's pretty much doubles your collection of CCNT. So I highly recommend people doing that. Thank you so much for those who continue to support us. We do not take ads. We are not in the pockets of advertisers or corporate interests. If we were, we could not talk about pretty much anything that we talk about on this show. So if you value the show or you want to keep it going, or you just want to do the right thing and return some value for the value you've received, head to patreon.com/CCNT. And if you're unable to do that, or on top of doing that, you can leave us a rating and a review on iTunes or wherever you listen to this. And even more than that, you need to find somebody who's still getting their news from the mainstream, scrolling their Facebook feed. You need to grab them by the cage and shake it.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Hey.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages. Stop this progress before it is too late.
That's right, everybody. Make sure to head to canarycry.community. Join up. It's a safe space where nobody's triggered. Nobody's, there's healthy discussion, but it's a place to find people just like you and connect with them and not be the product of Facebook. So that's very nice. And let's see. I think that's it. Make sure to go to patreon.com/CCNT. Get the bonus episodes. We're going to record one right now. And make sure to tune in next time to Canary Cry News Talk. But until then, dig outside the cage.
It's got to be biblical.
CanaryCryRadio.com/support